Hey friends! Several weeks ago I did a video on what it looks like to sew into a supernatural childbirth and the 3 stages that I kind of have identified for that. Well, this week I want to talk about the more practical side of preparing for a supernatural childbirth, because there are some things that need to be considered outside of what we talked about last week. As I mentioned about our video that we did several weeks ago, if you didn't have the chance to check it out, we'll put the link right up here, and so you can pause me, right click, open new tab, and watch that video real fast. That was my 3 stages of contending for a supernatural childbirth. And today I actually want to focus more on the practical side of what it looks like to prepare for a supernatural childbirth. So the very first one that I am going to suggest is to hire a doula, or have a specific person in mind who is going to fulfill that role for you. And if you think, well, I have my husband or my mom, no. Your husband is going to be probably emotionally shot just caring for you and helping you through it. And your mom is probably also going to be the same, because this is her baby and she's going to be watching her baby go through something extremely difficult. So I would definitely encourage, find a doula, find someone who's like-minded and who approaches birth in the same way you do. Hopefully someone who's attended a few births, maybe had a few kids themselves. We had a doula with my first daughter, and she was worth every penny. She's a wonderful lady, and I'm really glad she was there. And for our second daughter, we also had a doula who showed up minutes before the baby was born on the bathroom floor. But it was amazing those few minutes that she was there. The other cool thing is that she went to the hospital with us. So I had another person on my team that was there with me that wasn't a part of my immediate family. The second thing is, as you are looking into where you want to have this baby, don't just assume it has to be at the hospital unless there's a reason. Like if there's a high-risk situation, unless there's a reason why you have to birth at a hospital, I would encourage you to look at other options as well, like a birth center. Or if you're one of those brave type, you want to do a home birth, cool. Find a midwife who does home births. But I would just encourage you that just not to automatically assume it has to be the hospital. So look around, find some other options, and kind of just weigh the options. If you decide you want to do it at the hospital, great. I would encourage you to find an OB who is like-minded, who's going to be kind of right along with you, not in the sense of, I want to have a supernatural childbirth, just in the sense of someone who looks at birth sort of in the same way you do. For me, I look at it as something God created me to do. It's natural. I trust my body. You know, it's going to be nice to have that help there, but I'd like you to hang out over there unless I need you. Otherwise, don't touch me, don't talk to me. So for me, I actually wasn't able to find an OB that shared that same philosophy, really, which is why we ended up at a birth center, which to me was kind of a good middle ground. So wherever it is that you choose to birth your baby, make sure that it's in a place that you feel comfortable and you have providers that you agree with and that you have the same sort of philosophies, and just realize that you do have choices. Your OB, if you have an OB, your OB might not think that, but you do have choices. So just be informed when you make that choice. So immediately following with, once you've chosen, the place you're going to be giving birth, immediately following into that is when it's time and you're starting to feel those contractions and you realize they're not Braxton Hicks contractions and the baby's coming, don't run off and go to your birthing place, wherever that is. Wait as long as you can. And then that also ties into another great reason to have a doula, is they are hopefully going to be someone who has experience in this area. And so if they're looking at you and they're watching where you're at and they're watching your contractions and they say, okay, it's time to go, or if you want to wait a little bit longer, they're going to be helping you make those decisions, so you don't show up at the hospital and you're only dilated to a 1 and you're like, oh, it's time. Because here's the thing, once you get to the hospital and you have checked in, you are now into their system. Don't get me wrong, hospitals are amazing and they serve a tremendous purpose. However, once you get checked in and you're into that system, there is a greater chance that if you're not progressing the way that they are hoping or wanting you to, that's when the potential for interventions starts to happen. And I'm talking about like Pitocin and, you know, being strapped up and having to sit in your bed and that type of thing. Because, so here's the thing about hospitals. I don't know about you, but they're not someplace that I would just, you know, go hang out and have fun. Typically, when you go to the hospital, it's because someone is sick or hurt. It's not like a great place. So I think that that's ingrained in our minds just from the time we are little. Hospitals are not described as fun places. So it's just sort of ingrained in our brain. So when we go into the hospital, our brain, you know, that lizard part that's kind of the fight or flight, our brain is going to start to do a little bit of a panic. So you might feel okay, you might feel fairly calm, but inside your brain is probably like, why are we here? Bright lights, nurses, people in white coats, touching, stop touching me, that type of thing. Your brain's going, ah! At least that's what mine did when I did the hospital tour. And I realized this is probably not the best place for me to give birth because I was starting to, and I was just doing a tour. So, I mean, that's just me, and I know everyone's different, but there is something to be said about waiting as long as you can before going to the hospital, because when you get to the hospital, your body, your natural mama instincts are to protect you and this baby coming. And if your lizard brain feels like you're in an unsafe situation, or if this isn't the right place to birth the baby or whatever, your contractions are going to slow down, and then that's the whole failure to progress, and then there's the likelihood of interventions happening. So all that to say, you can totally do a hospital birth and it will be just fine if that's what you choose. Just wait. Don't go on your very first contraction. Wait a little while. Wait until you don't think that you can handle it anymore and you're like, if I stay home, I'm probably going to die. That's probably a good time to go. One other thing that I did that I felt was really helpful for me was with both pregnancies, I was fairly physically active. That was already kind of a part of my life before getting pregnant, but I stayed in the gym and I continued with my physical exercise. And if I didn't want to go to the gym, I made sure that I got out and went for a walk or did something. So I really feel like having that stamina from my physical exercise helped me when it came time to push the baby out, because I'm going to be honest, it's not easy. Even though I had a pain-free birth both times, it's not easy. It's physically exerting. And so I really feel like having that, the time of being physically active and, you know, training my muscles and also doing cardio and that type of thing, I really feel like that helped. So if you are wondering whether or not you should maintain this physical exercise, or you should continue going to the gym or continue going on your walks and your jogs, obviously check with your doctor, but yes, as long as it's good there, yes, keep it up. I really feel like that helped me with both of my labors. Now, lastly, I don't understand, and I probably won't understand until I get to heaven, I don't understand why I was given the gift of 2 supernatural childbirths. I don't know, because I know some amazing, strong Christian women who prayed into it and it didn't happen for them. But here's the way I look at it. Even knowing that it was possible that I might not get it, I decided I would rather focus my energy and my prayers towards contending into it versus just thinking, oh, it's never going to happen, and then going into it scared and with anxiety. Because if I focus my attention and my eyes on God and the promises that I feel like He gave me and the promises that I read about in the book, and again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the video. We'll also put the book in the description. But the promises that and the prayers that were listed in the book, I really feel like that helped me keep my eye on the prize. And I would rather go into it prayerful than fearful. So that's it. That's what I've got for you guys. I hope that you have enjoyed the video today, and I would love to hear from you in the comments if you have any questions, or if you're pregnant and you want to send me an offline message. I'd love to chat with you about this if you have other questions. If there's someone in your life that you feel like might benefit from this video, we would love for you to share it with them. It's my hope to encourage pregnant mamas everywhere because it's an amazing process, and sometimes we just need some encouragement. So thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, click like, share. We'd also like to invite you to be a subscriber. We put out a new video every week, and we've got over 80 videos of just family, life, that type of thing. And we'd love for you to join us on our journey. We have a Facebook page and we have a blog, so check us out in one of those areas. And that's it for now. Hopefully we'll see you next week. Tune in for our next video. Thank you guys. Take care. Bye.